I always root for the American economy. I think getting a 3 handle is a good thing. Getting a 4 handle is better. I think that the trajectory we're on is a dangerous one, and I don't think the print on Friday, whichever way it goes, changes that. And I think we're running a great risk of seeing it late in the cycle, a combination of forces driving inflation up and speeding up the end of the cycle. So I'm not so sure what I would focus on is Friday's report, the trade policies, the deficit being driven up. These are things late in the cycle that give me concern. So I'm less focused on Friday than I am on where we're going in the medium and longer term.
I remember last time we spoke in April, you said that President Trump is making Fed Chair Jay Powell's job hard because he's stimulating the economy so late in the cycle. I can only imagine what you think now that he is outwardly on CNBC criticizing the Fed's policy. He says he doesn't like the tightening.
Well, Sarah, in addition to the deficits, since you and I last spoke, the trade policies are inflationary policies. When you put tariffs on goods, it drives up the prices of inputs into production. It drives up the prices of finished consumer goods. There are going to be signals of inflation that may or may not be what they look like because of the combination of policies. I think that creates a very difficult environment. I continue to have a lot of confidence in the Fed and Jay Powell as chair, but I don't envy the job they have reading these tea leaves.
Clearly, if we do get a 4% figure, then these potential downsides haven't taken effect yet. So do you actually hope that you're wrong on this, and in fact it all proves to be a very sensible set of policies?
Wolf, I don't think you would see the downsides this quickly. We have an economy that's at full employment, and at the late cycle full employment moment, we've thrown trillions of dollars of stimulus into the economy. So that's going to burn off over time. I wouldn't sit here and predict that the economy is going to take a turn in the next month or two. There's enough kerosene on the fire to burn for a while, but when it burns off, there's going to be a problem because of the policies that have been in place.
When you consider the president's overall tactics on trade, which I think are designed, to win him support amongst working class voters, and indeed have done on some levels, do you regret some of the communication you had around the likes of TPP and TTIP? Were they actually focused on similar objectives, albeit framed in a more sort of globalist, elitist way?
Well, I think if you look at the policies we were pursuing, they were designed to open markets to American goods and services, to open markets to American investments, and to make it necessary for all of our trading partners to abide by high standards. That would protect the people that are looking for help. We obviously didn't communicate it as well as we might have because that wasn't the understanding the public had. I think the fact that we withdrew from TPP will hurt the people who right now need help. The most rapidly growing part of the world economy is Asia. We took a step away from it, and we were letting others carve up the business in Asia with us in the back seat. That's not good for American workers. So I think our policy was right. I can't challenge the notion that we didn't communicate it well because clearly that wasn't understood by the people we were trying to help.
But what about the China policy? I mean, put another way, some of the criticism would be, why don't you stand up to China on some of these unfair trade practices, technology transfers and forced ventures and stuff like that?
Of course we did. We spent 8 years pushing back very hard on China on intellectual property theft, on foreign exchange rate policies, on markets that were closed to U.S. products or investments. We made a lot of progress in a lot of those areas. I actually think if you look at the way the issues have been framed up, the mistake the administration is making, I think, is joining the issue over the kind of measure of what is the trade balance today. They should be focusing on these issues and making progress on them. I don't see them making progress on them.
If things with China do continue to elevate into a full-blown trade war, whatever you want to call it, where do you stand on who has the best ammunition between the US and China to outlast the other on that particular trade war?
I hope we don't have to find out the answer to that question. A full-blown trade war doesn't serve the interests of either of our economies, of the global economy. And you look at the geopolitical risk of a full-blown trade war. Right now, we're at risk of being in a trade war with China, with Europe, with Canada, with Mexico, with our best friends in the world and our biggest challenges in the world. That's not a good place for the United States to be.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.